Now, one of the things I do in this podcast is always talk about the real estate industry news and how poorly they prepare buyers and sellers. One example of that is always showing bad news. Here's an example, Newsweek, saying that the housing market gets more bad news. Now, one of the things you need to know about industry is that bad for a buyer would be good for a seller, bad for a seller would be good for a buyer. And so there's a trade-off here. So to say the market has bad news is kind of, doesn't make any sense. Let's take a look at what they're talking about though. You look at their stats and what they'll say is that the number of sales has dropped again by 1.9% in terms of the number of sales from a year ago. But while the number of sales went down 1.9%, the average price went up 5.7%. Where's that number down here? 5.7%. So the overall gross sales dollar amount went up about net 3.5%. Now, what's bad might be for buyers that housing prices went up 5.7%, but in an inflationary time like now, maybe they got a raise of 10%. Maybe they changed jobs, got a promotion of 10%. In an inflationary market, even though prices go up, it may or may not be bad. It's how do you outrace the inflation is the key point. And obviously for homeowners, it's like free money. If you owned a house, bought it a year ago for $1 million, you made $57,000 because the value went up without doing anything. The typical homeowner only owes about 50% equity on the house. So to use that same $1 million property, even if you had only $500,000 of equity in the home, the fact it went up $57,000 is over a 10% return on your investment. If you had put down 25% and bought a year ago, that 5.7% rise is like a 25% rise in your investment. So you can see the prices going up can be very good for homeowners. And can be very good for people looking to sell their property. Buyers, that might not be good news, but again, buyers might be experiencing higher income, so it's not the same problem that otherwise might be. So overall, I would say that article is very misleading.